A zombie shark with legs is on the hunt, and nowhere is safe, not even on land. From the chaos of Tokyo to a deadly aquarium fortress, one man and his friends face unimaginable horror as they fight to survive. But when a legged predator breaks every rule of nature, how far would you go to stay alive? Stick around, this is a nightmare you'll never forget. In a bustling high-rise in Tokyo, Akira dashes frantically through the corridors, evading relentless hordes of ravenous undead. But instead of succumbing to panic, his primary concern is making it to work on time. This surreal situation traces back to Akira's fateful start at an advertising firm a year earlier. Back then, Akira was brimming with dreams and youthful zeal. The office welcomed him warmly, throwing a celebratory dinner in his honor, and Akira found himself smitten with his senior colleague, Otori. He thought he had landed the perfect job. However, his optimism crumbled when, on his very first day, he was forced to pull back-to-back all-nighters, stumbling home in a state that mirrored The Walking Dead. As weeks turned into months, Akira's life became a living nightmare. His tyrannical boss, Kosugi, squeezed every ounce of energy from him with an endless cascade of tasks. The office turned into his de facto home, leaving Akira no choice but to comply under the crushing weight of financial necessity. Otori was his only solace, her small acts of kindness a rare reprieve. Yet, even she confessed that her own dreams had long been abandoned in favor of the daily grind. One evening, Akira managed to carve out a sliver of free time to meet his best friend, Kensho. Their dinner turned sour when Kensho, who used to play football with Akira in college, berated him for becoming a corporate slave. A heated argument ensued, dredging up old wounds from their failed college football days, and they parted on bad terms. The pressure at work plunged Akira into a deep depression. His once tidy apartment turned into a chaotic mess, and he began to contemplate dark thoughts at the train station. His life took a drastic turn one fateful morning when he discovered his neighbor feasting on another resident, only to realize the neighbor was now a zombie. Terrified, Akira fled upstairs as more undead emerged from other apartments. Despite the chaos, Akira's thoughts lingered on his tardiness. Reaching the rooftop, he leapt over a fence to escape the horde, only to be greeted by the sight of a burning plane plummeting into the city. Amid the destruction, an epiphany struck him. He didn't need to go to work anymore. A wave of euphoric liberation washed over him as he performed a jubilant dance under the apocalyptic sky. Akira decided to check on Otori, sending her a message. She replied with her location and a plea for help. Resolute, Akira descended the building via a pipe, promising a trapped pregnant couple he encountered along the way that he would bring back food. Once outside, he pedaled furiously through the zombie-infested streets, narrowly dodging attacks until he reached Otori's apartment. There, he found her injured and terrified, along with the zombified remains of the company director, who lunged at them. Akira relied on his football skills to tackle the undead, giving Otori the chance to strike back and put an end to the creature. However, Otori succumbed to her wounds and transformed into a zombie herself. Heartbroken but determined, Akira confessed his feelings to her before fleeing. Returning to his trashed apartment, Akira was consumed by grief until Otori's words echoed in his mind, "Do what you really want." Realizing his time might be short, Akira resolved to live fully. He began crafting a bucket list titled, 100 Things to Do Before I Turn into a Zombie, starting by crossing off Confess Love. With renewed purpose, Akira cleaned his apartment, indulged in luxuries he once denied himself, and even painted his self-portrait on a building wall. Over the days, he ticked off more items, from dyeing his hair to setting off fireworks near the Tokyo Tower. His journey brought unexpected encounters, including a skilled survivalist named Shizuka, who turned down his invitation to join him due to his reckless heroism. When Akira realized Kensho might be in danger, he decided to reconcile with his estranged friend. Clad in his old football uniform, he cycled to a love hotel where Kensho was trapped. Despite the throngs of undead, Akira devised a distraction by blasting music through a speaker, creating a moment of clarity and bravery that would redefine his existence in a city overrun by chaos. Akira's football training proves invaluable as he deftly maneuvers past the remaining zombies, leaping over obstacles and shoving a few aside. After climbing atop parked cars, he finally reaches the hotel. Once inside, he tackles another zombie before beginning his search for Kensho. Meanwhile, Kensho, noticing an eerie silence, cautiously opens the door of his room to find the corridor deserted. Just then, Akira appears, and the two friends exchange heartfelt apologies. Their reunion is short-lived as more zombies swarm toward them, forcing them to flee to the roof. They jam the door with a ladder and make their escape. The duo finds refuge in a fancy restaurant where they share a gourmet meal amidst the chaos. Kensho stumbles upon Akira's bucket list and notices the final item, make up with my best friend. Touched, Kensho thanks Akira for always looking out for others. Inspired, Akira declares his new ambition to become a superhero who saves people from the undead. Kensho, ever the realist, reminds him that superheroes typically have powers. Later, as they watch the news showing Tokyo descending into chaos, Kensho suggests they leave the city. Akira proposes they head to the Marine Paradise Aquarium in Ibaraki, where a specialized diving suit, designed for shark protection, could double as his superhero gear. On their way to gather supplies, they witness a crowd fleeing from zombies. Amid the panic, Akira manages to rescue a bus driver, two flight attendants, and Shizuka, a skilled survivor overwhelmed by the sheer number of zombies. The group takes shelter in a store, pulling down the shutter just as a zombie's hand gets trapped. Inside, everyone is relieved but unaware that the bus driver has been bitten. They gather supplies and enjoy a meal with some drinks, during which Akira unsuccessfully tries to charm the flight attendants, who are more interested in Kensho. Left behind, Akira chats with Shizuka, who notices his injured hand and tends to it, revealing her medical training. The bus driver soon transforms into a zombie and wreaks havoc, attacking the trio of flight attendants first. As Kensho and Akira try to fend off the undead driver, Shizuka initially chooses to abandon them, valuing her survival skills. However, she uses a radio to distract the zombie, allowing Akira to rescue Kensho. When Shizuka struggles to lift the shutter to escape, the zombified flight attendants close in. Using a basket, she fights them off until Kensho lights fireworks to divert the zombies. This gives the trio enough time to open the shutter and escape into an RV. Despite her reluctance, Shizuka joins them, realizing she can't survive on her own. Together, they leave the city and make pit stops along the way, freeing dogs, gathering supplies, and even indulging in Akira's bucket list items like paddleboarding and paragliding. They laugh at Kensho's misadventures, including a yoga mishap that leaves him soaked. A hot spring hotel offers a rare moment of tranquility with warm baths, sake, and a sky filled with fireflies. The next day, they finally reach the aquarium, but their RV crashes due to spiked traps on the road. Akira wakes to find himself among a group of survivors led by his old boss, Kosugi, who has turned the aquarium into a fortress. Survivors, including Akira's neighbors, perform assigned tasks under Kosugi's strict leadership. Kensho and Shizuka adapt quickly, but Akira feels torn between helping his friends and completing his bucket list. Over dinner, Kensho grows angry seeing Kosugi and his inner circle enjoy lavish meals while the rest survive on rations. Sharing their food with a pregnant woman, Kensho and Shizuka learn of a secret exit to the parking lot. They discover the RV's tires are damaged but plan their escape. Meanwhile, a supply truck returns to the aquarium, unknowingly carrying a zombie. Chaos erupts as the undead infiltrate the fortress, turning the survivors into prey. Some zombies fall into the shark tank, becoming an impromptu feast for the predators. Amid the chaos, Kensho and Shizuka repair the RV and steal supplies, urging Akira to leave. But Akira, feeling bound by his responsibilities, chooses to stay. Shizuka, finding Akira's bucket list, reminds him that becoming a superhero remains unchecked. Confronting Kosugi, Akira finally realizes that merely surviving under his boss's rule is no better than the monotony of his pre-apocalypse life. As tensions rise, Kosugi snatches Akira's bucket list, throwing it to the floor and stomping on it, a move that sparks Akira into action. In a surge of anger, he shoves Kosugi to the ground, retrieves the list, and boldly declares his resignation from Kosugi's tyrannical leadership. Just then, chaos erupts as zombies breach the area. Kosugi, true to his nature, sacrifices his own crew to escape while Akira rallies the survivors, guiding them through corridors and locking doors behind them. The group stumbles into the shark exhibition room, only to find Kosugi cowering. Kensho, furious at Kosugi's betrayal, grabs him, demanding answers. Before Kosugi can respond, a massive shark launches itself out of the water, landing with an ominous thud nearby. People panic, but Shizuka assures them that sharks can't move on land, only for the shark to suddenly extend grotesque, zombie-like appendages and start walking. Screams fill the air as the group flees back into the corridor. The shark smashes through a wall, blocking their path, forcing Akira to lead everyone into a side room for safety. As the shark pounds on the door, Kosugi attempts to sneak away, but his clumsy exit draws the predator's attention. Akira, realizing Kosugi's absence, insists on saving him despite Kensho's protests. Kensho reluctantly agrees to help and reveals a specialized diving suit in the room. Meanwhile, Kosugi trips while fleeing down the corridor. As the shark closes in, Akira, donning his superhero-like diving suit, intercepts the beast, delivering a powerful kick to its snout. The shark retaliates, pinning Akira under its massive weight. Kosugi, instead of assisting, flees once more. Kensho arrives in a forklift, ramming the shark but finding it ineffective. He abandons the vehicle and retreats to safety. In the shark exhibition area, Akira discovers Kosugi surrounded by zombies. Despite being overwhelmed, Akira charges in, his suit protecting him from bites, but failing to shield him from the pain of the attacks. Kensho, pursued by the shark, jumps through the wall's gap to rejoin the group. The shark attempts to follow but becomes stuck, giving the survivors a brief reprieve. Suddenly, music blares through the chaos. Shizuka, wielding 2 megaphones, draws the zombies' attention. With graceful agility, she lures them toward the edge of the tank before tossing the megaphones behind her. The noise causes the horde to plunge into the water, where they're devoured by the remaining sharks. As the trio reunites, Kosugi tries to join them, but the freed shark knocks him aside. Akira rushes to protect Kosugi, using a metal pipe to hold the shark's jaws apart. The shark's strength shatters the pipe, and it clamps onto Akira's arm, thrashing him around. Shizuka quickly improvises a plan, fashioning an electrical device using flashlight batteries to exploit the shark's sensory vulnerability. With Kensho's help, the batteries are thrown to Akira in a moment reminiscent of Kensho's failed football pass from college. Determined not to miss this time, Kensho throws with precision, and Akira catches them just as the shark turns on Kensho, knocking him out. Fueled by anger and adrenaline, Akira punches the shark's nose with the electrified batteries, sending a fatal jolt through its body. After ensuring Kensho is unharmed, the trio emerges victorious. Hours later, the survivors gather their supplies, preparing to leave the aquarium. Kosugi attempts to regain control, but the group, emboldened by Akira's leadership, stands up to him. Even his former employees confront him, denouncing his tyranny. Inspired by Akira's courage, the survivors refuse to continue living under Kosugi's rule and leave in their vehicles to start anew. As the trio climbs into their RV, Kosugi pleads for forgiveness, trying to join them, but they reject him without hesitation. With newfound resolve, they drive off into the horizon. Shizuka declares her dream of becoming a doctor, Kensho shares his desire to be a comedian, and Akira updates his bucket list, vowing to make heroism his lifelong mission. Together, they set their sights on new adventures, ready to chase down 100 more dreams. From chaos to courage, Akira's journey proves that even in the darkest times, hope and heroism can light the way. With a renewed sense of purpose, the trio heads off to chase dreams and tackle new adventures. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us for more thrilling stories of survival and resilience.